are doing a 20-minute deep stretch. Now, this stretching routine is meant for when your body is totally warmed up. So it's best to do after a full workout, just for a deeper stretch, an extra stretch, or if you're gonna just do the stretching by itself, I would totally recommend doing maybe like a 10-minute core warm-up just to make sure your body and your muscles are nice and warm for this. So let's get right into it. I am using a chair today for a little extra stretch. If you don't have a chair, you can use an ottoman, you could use a bench, whatever you have on hand, maybe even a rock outside, a large rock. So if you don't have it, I will give you some modifications and variations to do without it. But we are going to start with a figure 4 seated on our chair. So sitting on our chair, hips towards the front edge of your chair, you're gonna cross your right ankle to your left knee. And then from here, you're just gonna keep a nice tall spine, lengthening up through the crown of the head, lifting the chest up, and then hinge it forward until you feel that stretch in your right hip. Now, we're holding everything about a minute here today, so breathe through it, get oxygen into those muscles, really relax into this stretch. Now from here, keep that foot flexed to increase that stretch, and you can use your hands to kind of increase the pressure on that leg to kind of push it away from you and increase that stretch there. Big inhales and exhales. Again, the lengthening through the spine as we're hinging forward here to get the most out of our stretch. Try and relax those shoulders. Relax the neck. We tend to really tighten up sometimes when we are deepening our stretches here. And as we go through this, since we're gonna be here for about a minute for each of these stretches, maybe increase that range of motion, that stretch as we go through it. Take one more breath here. And then come on up, we'll switch sides. So crossing that left ankle to the right knee, getting ourselves situated, lengthening through that spine, and then when we're ready, we hinge it forward, we take that stretch, we hold it here about a minute. Now, I personally like to use when I'm seated like this, use my forearm to kind of push against my inner thigh and the inside of my shin here. Just make sure you're not directly on your knee joint. We're still keeping that flexed position through that foot to increase that stretch. Lengthening out all the way from the crown of the head towards your tail, so you're really feeling that length through your spine. When we round through that spine, it's actually doing a disservice to our body. We're not getting our full range of motion, our full stretch here. Good, few more breaths, maybe closing your eyes for these stretches today. Do what your body is craving. Just listen to it and treat it very well today. It deserves it. You work hard, so give your body a little TLC. One more breath here, big inhales and exhales. Again, relaxing where we can, lengthening where we can, bring it down. All right, so I'm just gonna turn to the side. We're gonna do a little chest stretch here. Now this one can be intense, so if the chair is not working for you today, don't worry about it. You can totally get rid of it. I'm gonna show you kneeling on and sitting back on my feet, but you can do cross-legged. It'll lower your hips a little lower towards the floor. The thing with this exercise, the stretch here, the higher your arms up or elevated they are behind you, the more intense the stretch is going to be. So from here, just hinge forward a little bit, bring your arms up behind you. You're gonna clasp your hands behind you, and then you're gonna find your position and just take a nice deep chest stretch here. So about a minute, stretching everything out. You can kind of reach your hands back a little bit once you start to get into it. Again, maybe you change to a cross-legged position, sitting on the floor all the way. And again, this can be pretty intense. So if you need a little bit less, you can either do it without the chair completely. You could try rolling up your mat and sitting it underneath your feet here to lift your hips up. Again, the higher your hips are and the lower your hands are, or the closer they are together, the less intense this stretch will be. So the farther away the wrists are from the hips, the more challenging it will be. So again, taking whatever you need here. Maybe you shake out your head no, maybe you look a little side to side, maybe you roll it out. Just do what feels nice, maybe a shoulder to the ear, on the other side, whatever feels good here. Take about 5 more seconds. Really open up the chest. Maybe you lift that chest a little higher. And then to come out of it, again, you kind of just hinge forward, bring it down, roll those shoulders out a little bit. We're gonna put our chair off to the side here and get a little bit deeper into our stretches. So from here, we're gonna sit all the way down. We're gonna extend one leg out straight. Take a nice deep hamstring stretch here. So foot is gonna be against that inner thigh of the straight leg. We're gonna bring those arms up, lengthen up through the crown of the head, through the tail, and then from here, hinge it forward. Take a nice deep hamstring stretch. If you can't touch your toes, just bring your hands to your shins, bring them down to the mat, whatever feels nice, but you're just gonna hold it here. Again, think of that lengthening here. It's gonna be really hard to get a completely flat back, but lengthen up as much as you can. That's actually going to increase our stretch here. So do that as you are stretching. Think about what you can lengthen, think about what you can release. Big inhales and exhales, relaxing through those muscles here. Making sure, especially in this one, that we're not starting to creep those shoulders up into the ears. We're staying relaxed through that upper body. Maybe see if you can get a little deeper as we get into it. We've got about 10 more seconds here before we switch sides. Nice job, ladies. Big inhales and exhales, and then we will bring it up. Extend the opposite leg out. Again, foot comes to that inner thigh. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. Bring those arms up, and then we hinge it forward. Once you can't go any farther forward, then you can start to bring those hands down. Maybe you grab the toes, maybe you can't reach on this side. Right and left might be totally different. Flexibility-wise, that's normal. We just want to try and do our best, make them as equal and balanced as possible. And the more that we work on it, the closer and closer we will get to that. Again, breathing, big inhale, long exhale, finding that spot that we can release. This side is super tight for me compared to the other side today. So it is not easy for me to touch those toes on this one today. Normally I can, but my hamstrings are tight today. They are every day, but today seems especially bad. All right, one more breath. Relaxing it out. And then bring it all the way up. All right. From here, I'm gonna turn to face you. The soles of those feet are gonna come together. Grab onto your ankles. Try not to grab to your feet, but grab your ankles here. Again, I like to use my forearms and my elbows to kind of increase my stretch. Lengthen up through the crown of the head, and then you may wanna use those elbows to kind of push those knees down. Use your arms to pull you deeper into that stretch, and just breathe into a nice butterfly stretch here. Lengthening out through the crown of the head. Breathing into it. This is great for those inner thighs, the low back, those hips. Our hips tend to hold a lot of tension and stress, and when they are super tight and tense, it actually can kind of weigh down us, our mentality, and make us feel a little bit more groggy or tired sometimes. So it's really important to kind of just release some of that stress with some stretching and letting ourselves just relax into it. It will actually help not only our body, but also our mind here. So it's really, really important to maintain our flexibility and feel good. One more breath here. Lengthen out a little bit more if you can. Get a little deeper if you can. And then release it. Now we're gonna come into a double pigeon stretch here. Again, this can be pretty intense, so if you need to roll up your mat or sit on some pillows, you can do that. From here, you're gonna be crossing one ankle to the opposite knee, and then the knee is gonna be over that other ankle. So you're kind of stacked ankle on knee, knee on ankle. Now from here, they don't have to be touching, that's totally normal. Again, you might wanna sit yourself up a little higher. From here, lengthening up through the crown of the head. This might be where you are at today, that is totally fine. Or you can keep that flat back as much as possible and hinge it over. Maybe move the fleshy part of your booty to get a little deeper down into that stretch. Again, you can use your hands to help push a little bit more into that stretch. Your forearms, whatever feels right. And this one is definitely intense. Again, this is why I said make sure you are warmed up for this routine today. We don't want to pull any muscles or cause any injuries, so warming up before this routine is crucial. These are some deep and intense stretches. Big inhales and exhales. Again, closing your eyes, moving what feels good. Maybe it's your neck, maybe you kind of just wiggle into it. Maybe you kind of, again, wiggle those hips around, find what feels right. As we get into these stretches a little bit more, maybe you deepen into that stretch. Whatever feels good for you today. You might feel this in your hips, your lower back, maybe even your inner thighs, depending on where you are tight. So this one is great for so many things. We're gonna bring it on up. Slowly bring it over to the other side. I like to kind of shake everything out in the middle before we get to that other side. So again, you're crossing the legs, stacking the ankle on top of the knee and the knee over ankle. We're here, we lengthen up through the crown of the head. Again, moving maybe the fleshy part of your booty here, getting yourself situated. And then once you're ready, you can hinge it forward if that is for you today. Again, you might be seated upright the whole time because this may be intense for you, and that is okay. Listen to your body and give it what it needs and what it desires today. Again, using that upper body to help and assist you to get deeper where you need it. Lengthen out, lift the chest. Again, I keep saying that because we all need that reminder. Even myself, when I'm going through these stretches, I kind of start to feel myself slump. You want to lift up and lengthen, shoulders back, chest up always. So even when I say it for you, I am usually also doing it myself, and I need a little reminder as well. Good, so breathing into it, take one more big inhale. Relax those shoulders a little more. Big exhale, release it. And then bring it down. Whew. Bring it forward. You can jiggle out those legs just a little bit more here. All right. One more for those legs before we get into a little bit more upper body here. We're gonna do single leg pigeon, which again, sometimes I can feel like this is actually more intense than the double one. So we're gonna bring one leg in front. The other leg is going to come right back behind us. Now, hands come in front of that leg in front. You want your front leg to be about parallel to the short side of your mat. The other leg is long behind you. Again, you can roll up your mat, sit your booty on it, put a pillow under your hips, whatever you need, if you are feeling like this is too intense today. Again, you might be right here, or you might be able to bring it down onto your elbows and relax here. Maybe you can flex that foot. Maybe you can bring it a little farther in front of you, whatever feels good for you today. We are gonna take this one for a little bit longer today because this one, again, like I said, is very intense. We get into some hip flexor stretching here. We get that hip and low back. We get so many things here. Again, maybe you wanna wiggle a little side to side, see what feels right, see where those hips should land to get the deepest stretch for you. And it will change every single day. It might not be the same spot. Maybe today you can go down onto your elbows. Tomorrow you don't feel like you can. Again, like I said, our hips can hold a lot of tension and stress. So if we are super stressed out, we may notice less flexibility in our hips. The body and the mind do crazy things and work together, and the things that happen through our body, and everything is just connected. The things that happen are so magical. It's crazy. Again, maybe you lengthen the crown of the head a little bit more. Maybe you try and get a little deeper down towards the floor, whatever feels right. We're gonna take one more breath here. And then bring it down. Kind of swivel onto that hip, swing those legs around. Whew. Maybe shake those legs up again one more time before we go to that other side. So we are gonna get ourselves situated. Again, you're gonna have that front leg about parallel to the short side of your mat. Back leg reaches long here. Again, maybe you stay here today. Right and left, again, might be super, super different. This is my not so flexible side, hip and hip flexor. So right now I'm getting personally the left hip and my right hip flexor. So the hip flexor is on that back leg that we're getting. So you might feel different, your side might be better. It's totally dependent on you. Listen to your body, do what feels right for you. Again, you can go down to those elbows. Just try and feel that length. Maybe you get yourself more upright. Maybe you feel more of a stretch through your core. There's so many options to do so many different things in this stretch. We can even do like a little thread the needle. Whatever feels good for you today, take it, experiment. Do what feels good. Relax those shoulders, maybe wiggle those hips, see where you want to stay, see where you want to focus on today. And again, every day might be a little different. Some days I like to be as tall as I possibly can in my pigeon. Some days I like to be as low as I possibly can. It goes with how I'm feeling, how my hips are feeling, how my body is feeling. So listen to it. Once we connect our mind with our body and we get more in tune with how things feel, the more aware we are of how we feel when we eat certain foods, how we feel when we do certain workouts, movements, things like that. And it's all about being kind to our body, right? Our body does so much for us, and it deserves some love and appreciation from us. All right, one more breath here. And then make your way out of it as lovingly as you can. Again, maybe you shake those legs out a little bit, whatever feels good for you. All right, we are gonna come onto our belly here. Bring yourself up. We're gonna find a nice Cobra stretch. Now, this one may feel like it's not super intense, but what I want you to focus on today, we're taking a little bit more time with it, is keeping your core activated and engaged in this. When we do that, it's actually going to increase our stretch. So scoop your belly up, almost like you were doing a plank down here. And that might lift your hips just a tiny bit off the mat, but you're really pressing your thighs down, but your hips may kind of bridge off just a tiny bit. So you're scooping your belly and then lengthen the crown of the head up. Maybe you come and raise up just a tiny bit into a little deeper stretch, maybe not, but draw those shoulders down. Feel that length through the spine. Keep scooping the belly in deeper here. Amazing job, ladies. So, so good today. We're almost there. I hope you're feeling so good after this. We're gonna bring it down. And from here, I want you to use one arm as a little pillow. So one arm is gonna be a little pillow. You're gonna grab the opposite foot with the other arm. So same arm and leg, and then the opposite arm is your little pillow. We're taking a nice deep quad stretch here and just feeling that length through the front of the thigh. This one can be challenging when we are doing it standing because we have to work on our balance, and sometimes that can make us not focus as much on the stretch. And doing it on the floor here, we have a little bit more feedback from the floor, so we really can make sure that that knee is staying towards the mat, so we're getting that deepest stretch. And then you're kind of pressing your knee and your thigh towards the mat as you're pulling on that foot right on the shoelaces to deepen that stretch. Just relaxing here again as much as possible. Maybe you close the eyes, deep breaths, relax the shoulders away from the ears. Core still engaged here as always. And then release it. Come on up and over to the other side. So the other arm is gonna be your little pillow. Reach back, grab that foot, and just take that stretch here. So you can be looking away from me, or you can keep lifted like me, whatever feels right. Just keep your neck happy here, whatever feels right for you. So enjoy it, enjoy that stretch. Again, check in with those shoulders always. Kind of press that knee and that thigh down towards the floor to get deeper. Scoop your belly up. Again, when you're feeling that kind of tucked, pulled position in with your abs, just like you would be in a plank, you're gonna deepen that stretch through the quadriceps. So scoop the belly, tuck the pelvis under just a little bit. Feel length through your low back to increase that stretch in your quadricep. Your quads get really, really tight when we are doing a lot of desk work and things like that. They get shortened as we're seated. So they really, really need some stretching every single day to help balance everything out, especially if you do a lot of desk work. All right, release that. All right, we got one more stretch. We're gonna be getting into some upper body here. Again, this is pretty intense for the shoulders and the chest. We're gonna go into a single arm little chest stretch here. So you're gonna come over to one side of your mat, and whatever side mat you're at, the other arm is going to extend out nice and long. You're gonna come and roll over onto that arm. You might be able to prop that leg up to get a little deeper into that stretch, whatever feels right here. And just take a nice stretch. Maybe you need a pillow for your head, that's totally fine. You'll feel this in the front of the shoulders. You'll feel it in the chest. It is very, very intense. So again, if this one is not working for you, just do a regular chest stretch. Maybe you stretch against the wall so you have a little less weight bearing down on that muscle. You can do this one standing, no problem. It will decrease the intensity, but still give you a great, great stretch. Big inhale and exhale. Breathe into it. And maybe this isn't working for you with that leg up. You can always keep it down here. You could bring it in front for a little bit less, whatever feels right. We're gonna come over to the other side. Get yourself situated so that arm is gonna reach out. And then you're gonna just roll back onto that arm and then get that stretch. So again, you're feeling it in the front of the shoulder here, the chest. Maybe you have your head elevated on a pillow or your rolled up mat, that is fine. Do what makes your body feel the best, which may be different from what I am doing, and that is okay. I want you to build confidence in what your body needs. I am just here to try and guide you and help you along the way. But we are all different, our bodies are all different, and we want to do what feels best for us. Take one more breath here. Roll it back through the center. And you ladies are finished. Thank you so, so much for showing up with me today. I hope you feel amazing, and I will see you next time.